There's a question here. Kim, please tell us about the role of gratitude. I read in your books that gratitude is the link between us and the spiritual realm. What role does gratitude play in your life, in expanding your consciousness? I feel that it is a very important feeling. Well, yes, it is a very important feeling. And you can say that gratitude is a spiritual quality. And there are several spiritual qualities, a number of them. I haven't really talked about it much in my video so far, but there are 7 main spiritual rays that have different qualities. But there are other qualities than the 7. So for different people, there will be different spiritual qualities that seem important to them. And of course, if gratitude seems important to you, you should by all means focus on it. But if you don't feel like gratitude is the most important quality, but there's another quality, it could be love, it could be wisdom, it could be willpower, it could be vision, it could be many other things, then you focus on that quality. But what I'm going to say here about gratitude still has some relevance if you feel there's another quality that's more important to you. So the thing is, each of these spiritual qualities or God qualities, they are a link. They are the open door between us and the spiritual realm. And for many of us, there is a particular spiritual quality that's the main one we are focused on. And in a sense, we could say we came into embodiment, at least in part, to bring that spiritual quality into this world, to be an open door for that spiritual quality, and to share it with others. And so it's important for us to try and tune in, and I will at some point talk more about this, but it's important for us to try and tune in to the particular spiritual quality that's important for us. And it's important for 2 reasons. First of all, we will most likely have been exposed to the opposite of that quality. We will have had other people, or even have projections against us from lower forces that are the opposite of the quality. If it's gratitude, it could be anti-gratitude, taking things for granted, thinking things should be a different way. And so in order for us to have maximum spiritual growth and fulfill our life plan, we have to overcome those perversions of the God quality. So this can be an important thing to look at. And the other thing is, of course, that we are here to be the open door for this quality so we can inspire other people, but also just to bring that light into the world and help raise the level of light in the world. And gratitude, of course, has this function of, well, in a sense you could say all the qualities, but let's just focus on gratitude here. It multiplies. So if you're grateful for something, you're multiplying it. So what is anti-gratitude? If you're ungrateful, if you feel that life should have been different, God should have done this for you, but God didn't do it, what are you then doing? Well, you are reducing. Right? So in a sense you could say, I've talked about the cosmic mirror. The world is like a cosmic mirror. It can only reflect back to us what we send out. So I realized many years ago that gratitude is really important because why do you feel gratitude? It's because you experience that you have received something. You have received a gift, and you are grateful for what you have received. So, in a sense, it's a state of abundance. So when you feel gratitude, what are you sending out? You are sending out that you want to experience more of this state of abundance. When you are ungrateful, when you feel like you've been cheated or life is unfair, what are you sending out? You're sending out you want more of the experience of not having enough, not having received something, having been cheated. And what can the cosmic mirror do but reflect back to you conditions that facilitate the experience you are sending out, that you are saying you want to have? Because whatever you are projecting out of your mind You're telling the cosmic mirror, this is what I want to get back, mirror. I'm ungrateful. God cheated me. Send more conditions back that validate this feeling that I have, this worldview that I have, that God is not going to give me what I want, that life isn't going to give me what I want. Send more of this back. This is what I want. Come on. And what can the mirror do but say, okay, you have free will. You're allowed to have any experience you want for as long as you want. So as long as you want to have the experience of ingratitude, I'm going to reflect back to you conditions that validate that experience, that life really is out to get you. When you then step into gratitude, you're sending another experience. I want to have more of the experience that life is willing to give me what I need, that the universe is a friendly universe, not a hostile universe. That it is my Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom, as Jesus said. So what can you do with gratitude? Well, you can make a conscious decision to refocus your mind. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, you focus on what you do have. And I know there are people who will instantly say, but that's easy for you to say. You've had an easy life. You should see my life. You should see my conditions. I don't have this. I don't have that. I've experienced this. I've experienced that. Would you feel grateful in those conditions? And perhaps I wouldn't. Perhaps your life really is much more difficult than mine. But nevertheless, whatever your conditions are, there's something you can be grateful for. If nothing else, if you look at all of the outer conditions, and they are all bad, you can take my video on the greatest gift we ever received in the Breakthrough series, and it's self-awareness. You have self-awareness. There's something to be grateful for. But I think most people will also find certain conditions in your life you can be grateful for. And you can make a conscious decision to focus on these. And when you do that, you are sending a different signal into the cosmic mirror than you have been sending so far. Now, I know this will seem insensitive to some people, but you have to ask yourself a simple question. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first? Your outer conditions or your feeling of ingratitude? Which came first? And you're going to say, well, definitely the outer conditions came first. Many people will say this. And this is because you're in a victim consciousness. Your basic attitude to life is, I'm a victim of outer conditions. And that's fine. Most people on earth are in that state of consciousness. But if you are a spiritual person, right? The question is simple. Do you want to change your life, or do you want to continue to experience what you're experiencing right now? If you want to change your life, there is only one way. You've got to send a different signal into the cosmic mirror than you've been doing so far. Because you may say, I've had all these difficult conditions in this life, and I'm not disputing that. But your lack of gratitude didn't start in this lifetime. It started in a previous lifetime. And that's why the lack of gratitude over many lifetimes has manifested the difficult conditions you have in this lifetime. And I've said before that if you're a spiritual person, most people, they can just ignore what I'm saying, and they will ignore what I'm saying, or they will argue against it and think I'm crazy. But if you're a spiritual person, you created a life plan before you came into embodiment. And part of that life plan was to force yourself to deal with a certain issue in your psychology that you haven't dealt with in previous lifetimes. And one of those issues could very well be the lack of gratitude, the victim consciousness. You're seeing yourself as a victim of outer conditions, which means you're powerless. You cannot take control over your state of mind because outer conditions are what they are. But you can. That's the whole issue, the central issue of the spiritual path is that regardless of outer conditions, you can start changing your state of consciousness, your inner experience of those conditions. And one of the ways is to make a conscious decision, find something you can be grateful for. and consciously focus on that. I remember myself back in 2002, I quit my job. I actually moved, bought another house, along with my second wife, and I started the websites I started doing, the Ask the Real Jesus website, and for the first year, I was really in doubt about whether we could make it financially, whether we could have enough money to just even survive and have a roof over our heads. And so I was regularly worried about it. But after a year, it suddenly hit me, yeah, we haven't had that much money, but we've had just enough to survive. So why am I worrying about it? Is it really helping the outer situation that I worry about it? No, it probably isn't. Is it helping my inner state of mind that I'm worrying about it? No, definitely not. So I made a deliberate switch to be grateful for whatever money I had that was coming in. And quite frankly, since the moment I made that decision, more money started coming in. And I'm still not, by any means, making a lot of money, but I don't need to. I just need to have a lifestyle that allows me to focus on the spiritual work I want to do and that I'm here to do. And basically, I can say that since 2003, I haven't had to worry about money. And you can say that, well, that's easy enough. You've had enough money coming in. Yeah, but it was still a deliberate, conscious decision not to worry and to feel grateful for what I had, and thereby send out the signal to the cosmic mirror, I want to have enough. I am grateful for what I have. So there are always skeptics that will say, this is all nonsense, this has nothing to do with anything. But in my personal experience and the personal experience of many other people I know who are on the spiritual path, once you change your mind, in many cases, your outer situation will also start to change. And as I said, I can look back. I don't remember the specific date, but I remember specifically, consciously making that switch. I'm going to stop worrying about money and be grateful for what I have. From that moment on, I haven't had to worry about money. There's been enough money that I didn't have to worry. But it's because, again, which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know? I'm not saying it was only my switch that did it, but it was part of it. They worked together because there's a connection between your outer situation and your inner situation. And you may not be able to change your outer situation, but you can change your inner situation by focusing on being grateful for what you have instead of being ungrateful for what you don't have.